There you go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back today with Miss Lubna Kabir, all the way from the West Coast, and she has some words of wisdom to share with us today. Hey, Lubna, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing,
Great,
William?
great, great. So what's on the agenda today?
I really wanted to talk about something like that I've been um, thinking about a lot on my own personal journey of self-mastery especially over the couple last weeks. And I've just been thinking about how, I've faced a lot of personal struggles with my family and such. And I found myself feeling a little bit jealous of other people. Like, why are other people happy? Why does it seem like other people have it so much easier than I do? And I got caught up in this kind of a cycle of comparison, and it really made me feel bad about myself. And so I had to take a step back and think about why I was feeling this way and how I could turn that around and think of my situation differently so that I make it my strength rather than make it feel like it's a weakness for me. Um, yeah, so I there's one thing, like one topic that I think is very important for self mastery is being able to accept your circumstances, like accept the way that things are, because that really helps you transcend them. And like once you come to acceptance, then you'll be able to um, be much more like clear your mind of negative thoughts. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Those negative thoughts tend to get in the way of you achieving your goals, or having a peace of mind. And when you accept your circumstances, then you can more easily rise above them.
So how does one do that?
um Well, there's a lot of inner work that's involved, and you have to think about the fact that there's like a much higher purpose for why you've been given a specific set of circumstances. Like, why, let's say you were born into a specific family, and like if your family is poor or has a lot of problems, and you look at other people who have like tons of privilege. Maybe they were born into a wealthy family and they have everything that they want, they could possibly dream of, and it seems like they don't have to work hard for it. Well, I think when you accept that the circumstances you've been given are like there's a higher purpose for them, their aim they're aimed at making you a better person, and making not a better person but a better soul. Like it's helping you become a better soul in the grand scheme of things, basically. And when you think about it, you like a lot of people on the surface, they might seem like they have everything, and they have a lot of worldly fortune and success, but the the inner the inner development of each person is hidden, and it's only something that we can know for ourselves. Like nobody knows what another person's inner world is like. And so when you accept that like if you have a difficult life, if you accept the difficulties and you realize that there's a higher purpose for them, then it really it really shifts your perspective on life in the grand scheme of things, basically.
Well, yeah, it's true. It could shift your perspective in the grand scheme, but right now I need attention now. I need to elevate now. So I mean, like here we have, you know, okay, say you're born into a privileged family. That's a
Mhm.
rarity. Most people are not.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
definitely. Hmm.
so how does that play out in terms of this inner work? You're talking about inner work. What does that mean, inner work? What are you talking about?
Well, like on the surface, if you're facing difficulties, you might, like in the moment, you might not really feel happy about it. You might think, oh, like you might feel like it's not fair and life is not fair, etc., etc. But when you go through those things, they teach you something about life. They add to your experience, and that's something valuable. Like you know, every time you go through some challenge, it humbles you. I think that's the key word. It humbles you, and you realize that you um, you're not immune to, like, you can't have everything be easy, or else like there's no purpose of like living a completely easy life. And
Yeah.
you know,
So now, so let's talk about the times you said that you were feeling some kind of a way about other people. What could you share with us what that was?
yeah, well, I come from a like a family, and my family is from Bangladesh, but I was born and raised in America.
Hmm.
And as the daughter of a very like traditional parents, I had a lot of like struggles growing up. I was like, I mean, I grew up in a really different culture than my parents did. And here in America, people are a lot more liberal and like free about a lot of things. And there was a lot of complications between me and my parents because we disagreed on a lot of things. And even now I have like very different viewpoint from my parents, and that really affects me in a really major way, because I look at other people who have much more open-minded parents than I do, and I feel like it's not fair. Like, oh, if I had their parents, or if I had their kind of a family, then I would, like, my life would have been so much better. But then I think about it and I realized that one of the things that added to my spiritual growth was the difficulties I faced as a child of immigrants from Bangladesh, like the psychological difficulties. I had like a long time throughout my teenage years and my early 20s that I felt like life was not fair, and I just wanted to be like be a part of someone else's family. But I realized that it made me a lot more compassionate toward other people who have difficult lives. And anytime you face a difficulty, it adds to your perspective, as I said, and it makes you realize that it helps you understand other people's difficulties a little bit better.
So how would you counsel someone in your situation? In other words, like, are there any particular routines, or are there books, or there activities? How would you counsel someone to who was in the same situation to overcome that?
I think, yeah, I think the most important thing to do is to find people who think the same way as you do, especially if you're in a situation or an environment where you are around people who don't really think the same way as you or are more close-minded. I think it's important to seek out the resources and the people who support you. And one thing I've done is I've built a really strong network of people that I am able to talk to about the topics that I like can't talk with my family about. And I have a lot of really good friends, and um, I also use online platforms such as social media to find people who are interested in the same topics as I am, such as spiritual growth and development. And like, also, as I mentioned, my parents are from a very conservative background, and they are also Muslim. Like, they were born into the Muslim religion, and so was I. But after facing some difficulties, like my parents got divorced when I was a teenager, and uh, I had a lot of cultural conflicts with my parents, and like those really caused me to question my religion. And of course, I can't tell my parents that I don't really believe in one religion. I think it's much more complex than that, because they're going to see me as a blasphemer. So, in order to um, discuss my like questions and things like that about spirituality, I had to seek out
Oh,
other
yes,
outlets.
I
Hmm.
got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Sure, that makes sense.
Hmm.
So now you're on social media. That's how I met you, on social media. you're posting and sharing.
Hmm.
Um, what are some of the comments you get from your associates?
Um, well, I have a lot of people connected with me on social media from when I was in high school, like people who are the same age as me, and also classmates from college. And the thing is, a lot of people just I mean, they don't really interact with the things I share, especially people my own age. I find it really hard to find people who are interested in such like deeper topics, and like quotes, literature, spirituality as I am. So I have to. I mean, I tend to get a few people. Like I have a few people who interact with me often on the things I write, and they pay attention, and I really appreciate those people because it means a lot to me. There's like it's really hard to find a lot of people who are able to think in that way, and whenever I do, I really appreciate them, and I strive to connect with those types of people as
Well,
much as I can.
so now, that seems to be the way of life at the moment.
Yeah,
Everybody's not in the same page as we are, unfortunately, right?
yeah, exactly.
So let me ask you this. I noticed recently you posted that you graduated from the USC School of Public Health. Is that right? You got the master's degree?
Yes, I got my master's degree in public health from the Keck School of Medicine of USC.
Well, excuse me and thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm happy for you. And what was that journey like? I mean, what skill, any particular inner skills you had to call on to persevere that journey? Was it 2 years, 3 years? What is it?
It was actually a 2-year long program. I started immediately after graduating from my bachelor's degree.
Mhm.
And it was a 2-year program, but I took some time off in the middle just to work because I was working in like a plastic surgery office and I couldn't work and do my studies at the same time. So anyway, I think one of the like things that I learned was how to be self-motivated because this program was completely online. It was the first program I took completely online, and this was even before the COVID-19 pandemic started. I started in 2018 an online program, and I just felt like it was harder not being able to see my classmates and my professors every day in person, but it offered a lot of flexibility in my schedule. And I think the fact that I had to learn how to be self-motivated also contributed a lot to my personal growth. And that like relates to the idea of self-mastery, where you have to learn how to see your own value and motivate yourself, like value your own time and schedule your own time based on what is best for you.
Yeah, right. I guess that you're so right. And I guess because you really wanted to be, you wanted to complete the program, that's what motivated you, right?
Yes, I did, and that is what motivated me. And I had to figure out like a organized schedule for each week, so that I
Oh,
could,
really? Wow. Okay.
yeah, so that I could finish my coursework on time and submit everything and earn my degree. So it's really going to be valuable to me, I hope, in my future career, which I hope to be a doctor.
Right. How do you see that tying into being a doctor? What kind of doctor would you be?
I'm not exactly sure what I would like to specialize in as a doctor yet, but I know that like I'm very passionate about improving the health of the community. And instead of basic science research, like I'm not the type of person who's really interested in working in a lab by myself on like basic science projects, but I'm more into helping the community and helping to create programs that improve the health of the community. One important thing is I'm planning to go to an osteopathic medical school, which is a different kind of medical school than an allopathic medical school.
So what,
So
what
osteopathic, yeah,
what's the difference between allopathic and homeopathic, osteopathic?
Osteopathic medicine is more holistic, and the philosophy of osteopathic medicine involves that there is a connection between mind, body, and spirit, and those things all contribute to the health of a person. So the reason I chose to get my master's in public health is because I want to help improve my community's health by promoting the idea that our mental health, our spiritual health, and physical health are all connected. And hopefully, I can participate in the creation and implementation of programs that could help people mentally and spiritually, as well as ultimately physically.
That's an ambitious task. And so, like, when do you start this program?
Um, I will be going to medical school this fall, in August 2021, hopefully. And I've been accepted to a few medical schools, but I'm not sure, like, I haven't chosen which one I will go to yet, but I'm just waiting to see if I hear back from a few other schools.
So now, when you go through is it osteopathic? Is that what it is?
Yes, osteopathic. Mhm.
When you take the osteopathic route, do you still have to take the medical exam?
Yeah, it's the same as allopathic, like for the most part, but osteopathic, medical schools have an extra component which is called osteopathic manual manipulation, which uses like it's kind of like physical therapy, and you have to figure out if you can help to alleviate a person's like symptoms of illness or anything like that physically before you give them medication. So it's like we try to reduce like as we try to make sure that we don't give people medication if they don't need it. We reduce the need for giving out medication.
That sounds great, man. That's right. How did you come onto that?
I majored in psychology and biology in my undergrad, and I took a lot of humanities courses, and I realized like there's a lot more to health than just our physical like health. And I mean, it's not just physical. You can't just take a pill and solve all your problems because
Wouldn't that be great?
yeah, I know, but that's how people get addicted. They become dependent on medications, and this is especially true in psychiatry. Like, people take pills for depression and anxiety, and don't get me wrong, I know some people have biological like reasons why they have those mental illnesses, but a lot of it is also caused by lifestyle factors. And so, if we address the lifestyle factors and pay attention to the person's mental and spiritual aspects of health, we can eliminate the need for medication in many cases.
So what's a lifestyle factor? What is that?
Like some people, they follow really unhealthy diets, and uh, a lot of that can be rooted in kind of a low self-esteem or believing like, oh, if I eat healthy it's not going to make a difference. So a major role of doctors is to educate patients on what it means to like why it's important to eat healthy, and also to motivate them, like to motivate them to feel like they're worth it, they have value, and if they eat healthy then they're going to feel good, they're not going to need to get medicated for a bunch of chronic illnesses or even mental illnesses. And that's the role of a physician basically.
Well, but here's the thing. I mean, I live in the city of Newark, New Jersey. We have what I would call an epidemic here of obesity,
Hmm.
and people in the health department, public health schools are educating people about proper dieting. Yet the population says, well, no, I can't afford proper dieting. I can't afford to go to Whole Foods. This food is too expensive. I'm going to just eat McDonald's and I'll get by with rice and beans.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a major issue. Fast food, having fast food is more accessible than healthy food for a lot of people. And There's a misconception because most people like believe that healthy food and fresh produce are more expensive than fast food, but there are ways, like, potatoes are very healthy, and a lot of people think that it's carbs, so it's not healthy, but that's only if you add salt and oil and a
Yeah,
bunch of
right, right.
stuff to it.
If you change the molecular structure, right?
Yeah, and potatoes are very cheap. Personally, I survived through college and grad school by eating rice, potatoes, and frozen vegetables. And I just added a little bit of salt and pepper every night, and just I didn't add oil. I just That's what I ate, and I felt so good. And it didn't cost much money, but a lot of people they don't really see that, like, they're misinformed about those things. So it's just like there's so much information out there, and you don't know who to believe and what diet works. But if you just keep it simple and go back to the roots, like your ancestors, like human beings a long time ago, that's what they survived on, the most basic things: potatoes, rice, vegetables, anything you can grow and cook and eat is what your body needs.
Yeah, well, that's true. Unfortunately, though, we have a modern mindset, like, for example, let's take milk, right?
Hmm.
That stuff they sell in the is that milk?
Yeah, it's very much not milk,
No,
because
it's not milk at all.
yeah, because if you were to actually drink milk directly from the source, it doesn't taste good, because it's just it's basically just fat used to make the baby cow grow.
Yeah,
And they add a lot of things to make it taste a little bit sweeter and appeal more to consumers, which is why it tastes the way it does. But
right.
yeah, if you eat it naturally, it doesn't really taste the same.
And not only that, it doesn't last for 3 weeks in the refrigerator.
Right, there are preservatives to make it last longer.
But now here's the thing: if you run around telling people this,
Hmm.
they're gonna be upset.
Exactly, nobody believes. Everyone is, they think that they believe what they are used to. Like, they don't want to admit that their lifestyle has problems or flaws, and this makes people very dependent on the system. Like, if you have like if you have spent your whole lifetime eating and drinking the things you buy at the store, and you never grow your own food, you're gonna spend your whole life dependent on the groceries you buy at the store, and you're gonna work a job just to buy expensive food. And a lot of people like don't even like their lifestyle, they don't like their job, they don't like anything. But the only reason, like, you don't really need that much money to live if you can learn how to grow your own food and make things for yourself, instead of relying so much on the things that are given to you that you buy at the store.
So now, part of your public health initiative, are you planning to do like homegrown gardens and stuff like that?
Yeah, I really want to teach people about how it's like it's really important to be able to provide for yourself. Like, those things are not going to be available forever. Like, some things, sometimes a store might be out of stock of things. Like, you don't know if you're gonna have certain things forever, so you have to learn how to provide for yourself in the case that the everything around you just disappears.
Right, right, right. Well,
Hmm.
I mean, like some people, what they do is they go to Home Depot and they buy those orange 5-gallon containers, and
Yeah.
then they plant stuff in it, like got tomatoes or cucumbers and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's a much better way to live, because you know exactly what's going into your food from the start. And there's something more like rewarding about eating something you've grown yourself. Like, you feel like you're eating the fruits of your labor in
Yeah,
a kind of a literal way.
right. The fruits of
Mhm.
your labor.
Yeah.
So part of you said the mental health, the health program is like has the physical and the mental. So like, and you talk about depression. Is that a major issue today, depression?
Yeah, for sure. I believe that a lot of people work jobs and live lives that they don't really have like find meaning in them. And the problem is that there are so many jobs that are kind of like unnecessary, or like it's just to make money. It's not really like some people just sit in an office all day not really doing anything, and they don't even like the job, and they're just doing it to make money to buy things that they need to survive and continue doing their job. There's no like creativity. And I think one of the things that we need in order to live a fulfilling life is some way to express ourselves and be recognized for that. Like creativity is a really big part of my own life. I really like writing, photography, and doing things where I can be unique and express the like the person that is me, that's different from everyone else. But people feel stuck in their lives and they don't see that they need a way to be themselves and not just be stuck in this robotic way of living. And because of personal experience with that, I feel like that's a major reason for why a lot of people are depressed.
Yeah, I would think so. Because if you're not fulfilled at what you're doing,
Hmm.
other things happen, and one of them, I guess, is depression.
Yeah, exactly.
So now,
And I've yeah, oh sorry, yeah.
so now, what's the fallout from this depression? I mean, we have obviously we have lower productivity, but I mean, on a personal level, do
Mhm.
people, want to do other things? Do they imbibe in the drugs and things like that to get out of depression? How does that work?
Yeah, it just basically feeds the cycle, because when you have depression, then then people are going to seek ways to eliminate that by getting drugs. And then the drug companies, like, they don't make drugs to solve people's problems. They make it because I mean, they make it in a way where people are still going to need those medications and drugs, because that's how the pharmaceutical companies make money. They're not going to make drugs that just get rid of the problem and then the people
In other
don't need
words,
it
they
anymore.
they don't make drugs to heal. They make drugs to hook you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's a really big problem. And I see all of like the things that are wrong with society, and I can't help but feel like helpless at solving. It's just so big, and like the world has a system of go working and running, and I have a different vision for like the perfect world, but obviously I'm just one person. I can't really change the world. And so
No, you can't
yeah.
change the world, but the world change starts with you. It's what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you have a vision. You know
Hmm.
what you want to do. You go ahead and do the best you can.
Exactly. And just make a difference in my own little way.
Yeah, right. And you create your own little world.
Hmm.
In the world of Lubna, this is how we do it.
Right. Exactly. And
So
that's what I'm trying to do every day. And like, even if some days it feels like I'm not really making a difference and nobody really listens to what I'm saying, I just feel like I'm talking to a wall. I realize that one day, I mean, one day if I become more like successful, I guess, and have more of a audience, then people will go back and see all of the things I've said and written and be like, oh,
exactly. Then you'll be a superstar.
yeah. Maybe, yeah.
That's how it works. Just stay on your path. It's working out for you.
Hmm.
So, community health, that's a very broad topic. But
Hmm.
then again, we talked about the depression, the drugs, and anything else in community health we should talk about?
um I think that's really the basic idea of community health. Uh, there's a really systematic way of doing it though in public health, and like from what I learned in my program, we have to follow a specific like a process for designing and then implementing and evaluating a public health program and then revising it and then implementing it again. It's a really large scale kind of a process. And some examples of public health programs that work like that, I think, for example, Planned Parenthood, they have like a lot of programs for, um, for uh, reproductive health for women. And it's like that's an example. These systems have been created by people who are public health practitioners and have done a lot of research to come up with the most effective programs for the community.
Right, but here's what I mean by my question. We have,
Mhm.
we have gang warfare. Is that a community health issue?
Yes,
We have
community health issues. Yeah.
we have
Oh,
we
sorry. Yeah.
have racial tensions. Is that community health? No. So,
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
these are some serious community health issues we have that, and then we the latest one here is the thing about the COVID vaccine. People are not, they don't believe that it's going to work out. I mean, see,
Right.
again, we have those are three major things that are impacting us that you need somebody in community health needs to address.
Yeah, for sure. And the problem is you can never make people believe a certain way. There's always going to be disagreements based on people's, political ideas and preferences. And sometimes it's just important to accept that when you do your best to um, uh, make people see your viewpoint. And I'm not saying like any person's viewpoint is right or wrong. You just have to show people what you believe in and what you think is the right thing to do. Then you've done your best. And there's nothing more you can do as long as you've done your best. um,
There was a guy. It's a guy named Edward Bernays.
mhm,
He's considered to be the father of American public relations.
mhm,
His father was Sigmund Freud. I mean, his uncle was Sigmund Freud.
mhm,
And this guy Bernays, during the Depression in the 20s, a pig farmer manufacturer came to him and said, "Look, I need you to hook up a ad so I can get my competition out of the way."
mhm,
And the guy says, "No, we don't want to run him out of the business. I'm going to create a survey from doctors, and the doctors will say, I'm going to pay them to say that eating bacon, milk, and coffee and all that stuff is good for you." That's become the standard American diet.
mhm,
So what I'm saying is somebody paid for that. It wasn't organic. So what
mhm,
I'm saying is that maybe public health can be affected the way you said it can't be, because that's what they do now.
mhm. Yeah, and it's really hard to know who to trust sometimes because like even the people who are in power, who make the rules, who even like my professors in public health, you don't know if like where they're getting information it from is accurate. And throughout my education in public health, there are a lot of things I disagreed with on many topics I disagreed with my professors and classmates. But it's
like
just like
like what? Like what? Give me an example.
um like I had a talk on nutrition with one of like my classmates. We were doing a project, and they were like in the PowerPoint, when we were designing the PowerPoint, they were thinking of like writing like the guideline. We had to come up with guidelines for a healthy diet. And she wrote like reduce carbs, no carbs, and like no rice and potatoes and things like that. But as a like personally, I follow a very high carb diet and high carb, low fat diet, and I feel healthy. I feel like it's a good diet for me. And um, it's just like little things like that that people think like automatically, oh, all carbs are bad. And
Right, right, right.
yeah,
All carbs aren't bad. That's true.
right.
So
And
so
there, yeah.
even in your program, like your colleague wasn't a very critical thinker, it seems like.
Yeah, and there's like different doctors with different viewpoints. There's a doctor I'm really interested in what he has to say, and he really promotes a high starch, low fat diet, and his name is Dr. McDougall. I've read his books, I've watched his lectures, and I really like it's good for me. Like what he promotes, it has worked for me. So it's just like you have to look at different viewpoints, kind of like a judge. You have to see the different
Mhm.
viewpoints, both what you agree with and disagree with, and then make your decision from there.
Well, maybe it's a matter of like a tailor-made diet.
Right. It's
No,
individual, like
yeah. I mean, the
unique.
different. They say there are 9 different body types.
Hmm.
So somewhere you fall in between one of those body types that requires a certain type of diet,
Hmm.
as opposed to saying one size fits all.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely like that. It's not like one thing is good for everyone. Like if one thing is good for one person, it's not automatically
Yeah,
good for another person. And the same thing for spirituality. I believe like one way of living is not the same as for one person as for another person.
true that, true that. But unfortunately, we have that mindset where my way or the highway.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of religions have caused, I feel, a lot of warfare and major disagreements between populations. And like growing up, I have personal experience with that. Like I grew up in a Muslim family, and they tell me, "Oh, you don't do this, don't do that. That's bad. That's bad." And I'm like, I disagree because I grew up in America. I live in
Yeah,
American
right, right,
culture.
right. You say, I haven't had that experience. Why are you telling me this?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the way of the world, unfortunately.
yeah.
So now, I really like your writings and your photographs that you post. Very
Hmm.
nice, very nice.
Thank you. That's my passion, and like I have a lot to say about that. Actually, I hope that's fine. um I've been growing up, like my parents have pushed me to study in order to become a doctor and focus on the sciences. And I feel like those kind of professions, like being a doctor and um, like helping people, helping to solve medical problems, is a very preventive outlook, preventive profession where you prevent bad things from happening to people's health. But I need something that allows me to be creative, where I can add to the world instead of preventing. And that's why I have art and photography and writing as an outlet, because I like creating, I like making something for people. And I wish I could make that a profession. Sometimes I feel like I'm being forced into the medical profession by my parents. um but yeah,
Well,
but right now, yeah.
there are a number of doctors who
Hmm.
have become doctors,
Hmm.
and they still do their artistic thing.
Yeah, I definitely look up to those people.
As
Yeah.
a matter of fact, when you do your anatomy, right, your
Hmm.
drawing skills will come in quite handy.
Yeah, I agree. And one person from history that I look up to is Anton Chekhov, who is a Russian playwright. He was a doctor, and he had a very like a similar situation that I feel like I have. He grew up in a very like a toxic family, and then when he got older, he decided he wanted to be self-sufficient, and he wanted to break the cycle and become his own person, which is why he became a doctor. And during medical school and while he was practicing as a doctor, during the day he would work all day, and all night he would do his writing. He would write plays and poems and
Wow,
literature.
wow.
And that's what we know him for. Like most people now, if you go back and look at his Wikipedia page or anything, you read his books, you know him for the things he created, the plays he wrote. And it's
You know,
very inspiring. Mhm.
it's true. Like when you don't think of many You don't think of doctors as someone that you remember, right?
right?
You think of the literature guys, the artist guys.
Yeah, because doctors, and engineers and anyone who does those things, of course, they make a lot of money during their lifetime and they're very successful. But unless they're adding something new, like creating something that they can be known for, then a lot of them just are left like anonymous at the end of their life. And I
Yeah,
know that it's a
that's
very,
true.
yeah, it's a very humble way to live. Like you dedicate your life to helping save lives of other people, but at the same time we all have a need for like self expression and expressing the person you are and something unique that only you can
Say
do.
in other words, give me some too, right?
Yeah, that's how I feel, definitely.
Yeah, well, like so, like the how long is the medical school anyway?
um it's it's a long road, depending on what you choose to specialize in. For me, well, it starts with bachelor's degree. You take 4 years of undergrad, which I already did. You don't need to get a master's in public health, but I did, and that was 2 years. Medical school is 4 years long, and after that, residency is either 3 or 4 years long. And after that, if you choose to do something very difficult, such as plastic surgery or general surgery, anything that requires more training, you have to take more, like a longer residency and a fellowship after that.
I'll tell you, if I were being a doctor, I would do the plastic surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I, I,
It,
I think that's a very creative aspect of being a doctor.
Yeah, I'll tell you, as a former medical assistant for a plastic surgeon, I was working like for almost a year or half a year to a full year, and in New York City, and it was a very interesting experience. Like the doctor had a lot of like he had his own style, kind of like an artist has their own style.
Hmm.
He Whenever he did a person's face or their body, like he had a specific way, like he had a natural kind of a style, whereas others may have a more fake kind of a exaggerated style of plastic
Yeah. Oh,
surgery.
wow. I never thought of that. That's true.
Yeah, and it's very interesting and creative profession in medicine, but also it's very um, disgusting because surgery is involves a lot of opening people up and getting their guts out, and even in their face, like taking off the skin from the side of their face and then stretching it and putting it back on. It's very, you have to be very strong in order to, like,
Oh, is that,
mentally strong.
really? So, in other words, to get a facelift means you have to take some stuff out and tighten the skin up. Is that what you do?
Yeah, and even like for like the body, sometimes liposuction,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's disgusting, like sucking out the fat from a person. And then the doctor one time, the patient wanted it put in her butt, like the fat from her stomach to be put
Hmm.
in her butt.
Yeah.
So he took the fat from the liposuction and he put it in the butt. Yeah, it
so,
was,
so
yeah.
was she happy?
Yeah, she was. Of course, if the patients were actually awake during the surgery, they would probably be
Oh,
disgusted.
oh,
But
they're all asleep. and
yeah, thankfully, that's why they don't see the disgusting part.
you had to go in there and do the disgusting stuff.
Yeah, I was an assistant, so I had to like give the doctor the tools he needed during the procedure, and also after the procedure, I had to help clean up anything like the guts and stuff that's spilled on the
Good.
ground and in the room.
Now,
It was
where was this? Where was this office located? Park Avenue.
yes, it was in Park Avenue. And the doctor I worked for was a very well-known doctor. He's still practicing, and he's been doing this for many, many decades, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's so. I guess that's not for you, huh?
Um, who knows? If I like it in medical school, I might choose that route. But for now, I just want to have a like a simple life. I don't want to work too much. I want to have time to do my creative things also. So I know plastic surgery and all the surgery specialties tend to be very time consuming and like take up the doctor's whole life, basically.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I got
yeah.
you. Well,
But we'll
yeah,
see.
you gotta be free to enjoy your life.
Yeah. I'm thinking of dermatology, which is like plastic surgery, except it's not invasive. So you can do
That's
like,
true. That's true.
yeah.
I used to go to a dermatologist,
Hmm.
but in actuality, looking back, he really didn't do anything except, pop my pimples, which I think is really not the way to go. It wasn't, you know, he didn't use a dietary approach first. He just started
Yeah.
punking, punking my face.
Yeah, it depends on whether your dermatologist is a allopathic or osteopathic doctor. And you
Yeah.
know, allopathic doctors have the MD degree, and osteopathic doctors have a DO degree.
Okay. But I mean,
Hmm.
it's still certified by the state board.
Yes, both of them are like certified doctors. It's just that DOs have a different, like additional training in like holistic medicine.
Right, right, right. So in other words, as a DO, you're going to be a DO, then how would you approach, you know, the, um, the acne situation? How would you go about that?
As you mentioned briefly, I would like kind of address the patient's lifestyle factors first, and um, I would encourage them to adopt a healthier diet and also try some like topical things like putting on their skin like creams and stuff. And I mean, I would do everything like address all of the different factors in the person's life. Including the physical aspect, mental and spiritual and lifestyle aspect as well. Like if
Yeah,
there's some
right.
stress.
Yeah, stress. I think stress can be a trigger for that as well. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. So that sounds like a winner for you.
Yeah.
OD dermatology,
Yeah. Do, yeah.
and then DO. I'm sorry. And then that includes psoriasis and stuff like that too, right?
Yes, and some dermatologists only like focus on doing injections and facelift, like non-invasive facelifts, things like that. There's a lot of like cosmetic dermatologists here in the Los Angeles area
Well, I'm
who do
not
that. So
surprised. I'm not surprised. So what
yeah.
what what about Botox? Is that a invasive or non-invasive?
It's non-invasive because it's just an injection and it can be done without surgery. So yeah, it's
There you go.
it's
You get one Botox a day. That could pay your rent for the week for the year.
yeah, they're very like I was surprised when I was working at the plastic surgery office how much money the doctor made from one Botox injection. I forgot exactly how much, but it was like hundreds of dollars for one injection.
Wow, man. Well,
Hmm.
it's not the injection. I think it's like knowing how to give the injection, right?
Yeah, and also the material is very expensive, but um, giving it is very like it involves a lot of skill because you don't know like if you hit the wrong nerve on the
I know,
face,
right?
it
Yeah,
it it's very liable to like it can be a big liability for the patient.
yeah, man. And that's like heavy insurance as well.
Yeah,
Hey,
definitely.
doctors don't have it easy, man.
Sorry.
I said doctors don't have it easy.
Yeah, they don't. And um, I'm sure you've heard about anesthesiology, which is the most like highest paying specialty in medicine. The thing is, anesthesiologists are like they don't really do much except put the patient to sleep and wake them up after the surgery. And they just do that. And like during my experience in the plastic surgery office, during the procedures, the anesthesiologist was just like reading a book all during the 9 hour long procedure.
Yeah,
And all he did was wake up the patient and put him to sleep. But there's a huge like liability if the patient like something happens while they're
Yeah,
being put to sleep.
that's
So
true. Yeah, when I
yeah.
lived in LA, I had a friend there who was an anesthesiologist.
Hmm.
That's exactly what he did.
Hmm.
You know, he was never really tired from
Hmm.
any work. He was just tired of sitting there all the time.
Yeah, and it's just very bad if you don't wake up the patient, and it involves a lot of like paying attention to vital signs, and it's life or death. That's why it's so high paying, such a high paying
Hmm.
profession.
I
Hmm.
didn't know. So I thought the surgeons were the highest paid.
No, the anesthesiologists are definitely the highest paying ones, and I've googled it everywhere, and I've seen that they get paid so much, and it's almost crazy. Like I used to wonder why it's so much, but now I realize it's because it's they're dealing with like life or death of the
How much?
patient.
How much do they get paid? Million?
Um, I don't know. I think it's like $300,000 a year for their salary, like somewhere 300 to $400,000.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, that's not a lot of money to be liable for someone's life.
I might be wrong. I have to look it up again, but I know it's more than surgeons. And my mom is a doctor, and her like she's a family physician, and her salary is around like 250,000. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think those guys are closer to five.
yeah,
Depends where you are. You know what I mean?
yeah, definitely. And I'm sure in like New York, it would be different than in like a rural area.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't think they have a plastic surgeon in the rural area anyway.
Yeah, it's
Except,
probably more like emergency
but sometimes though,
in
when
rural
people have
areas.
accidents in cars and things like that, they have to
Yeah.
send them over to the plastic surgeon to heal them up.
Yeah, and those are the um like a different like cosmetic plastic surgery is different from I guess the other type of emergency plastic
Yeah,
surgery.
that's true. That's
Hmm.
true.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to share today?
Um, this no, I mean this was a really good conversation, and I just like really liked being able to talk about different topics. Because I know last time it was more about like theories and spiritual things that are not really they were more like not based in reality. So this one I really like talking to you this time about all of these different things, and also about my personal life and my profession.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I enjoyed being with you, and I look forward to you coming back again soon.
Yes, I will definitely talk with you again in the future, and I would love to update you on my journey. And I mean, I'm going to medical school soon, and when I go there, I'll definitely have
Yeah.
more experiences.
We'll have to say this week. Tune in this week for Lubna's episode at medical school.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That would be cool.
Yeah, and then that would, I don't wonder how many people do that, right?
Right. Yeah, not a lot of people like really care. I feel like if you were to try to find other people my like my classmates or people my age, it might be difficult because a lot of people don't really care about self mastery or those kind of topics. But I'm glad that I was able to connect with you and talk about this topic.
Yeah, it's good, man. It keeps you sane, right?
Right. And like being able to share your life. I really like appreciate this because one day I would love to like look back and hear what I was saying and
Yeah,
thinking
right.
at this time. Hmm.
You say that was me, man.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I found, Lubna? I found this that I used to keep journals, right?
Hmm.
And I came across a couple of them years ago, and I looked and I read it, and I said, I said that? I don't
Yeah.
believe it. It was profound, and I said, man, I was so very young then, and I said that. Wow, man, I'm not saying that now, you know. So yes, you have a good point. You want to document all your stuff.
Yeah. I actually did an interview about my life story on my 24th birthday in 2020 in March 3rd. And I was listening to what I was talking about, and it's crazy. Like, I felt like I was so stuck in life, and I didn't think I would be accepted to a medical school and blah, blah, blah. I felt really insecure. And now like looked back at that and I listened to my thoughts and I was like, oh, wow. I wish I could go back and tell her everything is going to be okay. Just telling myself,
Well, you can tell her now, right?
yeah.
All right, Luna. Hey, I really enjoyed being with you today. So, hit me back in a couple of weeks. We can do another one.
Yeah, I'll definitely contact you. I think this is a good time, like Saturday. We can even do it earlier, like 10 or 11. 11 is good too. So whatever works for you also.
Okay. Well, just let me know when you're ready,
All right, I will.
and I'll send it over to you as soon as I can. All right.
All right, no rush, so you can take your time.
Well, thank you, madam. I appreciate it. In regards to your mother and your family and everyone. Hope everyone's well, and you know, keep the faith. Yeah.
Thanks, you too, William. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye bye.
Bye, take care.
Okay.